Zahn and his administration defend breaking city policy, paying one salaried employee nearly $90,000 in disaster pay in the months after Hurricane Ida.
While he calls our investigation a hit piece, taxpayers will foot much of the bill for the spending, and that has some council members asking questions and proposing changes.
If we want to talk about a certain individual that I feel is a political hit piece that's been poorly researched by certain media outlets, it's now influencing some members of the council to take this to a council meeting, and it looks like politically hit us.
Kenner Mayor Ben Zahn and his administration defend breaking city policy and paying a salaried employee nearly $90,000 in disaster pay for 4 months of work following Hurricane Ida.
I'm alarmed that a hit piece like last night, which had false information and false conclusions, would be acted on.
At last week's council meeting, the Zahn administration said our stories were false, but didn't dispute the money paid to employees after Hurricane Ida.
You know, I get emotional because it's insulting to say an allegation that something wrong is happening, that something negligent is happening. It's completely insulting.
The city of Kenner has a policy that allows salaried employees to be paid extra while the city is closed after emergency events. But Kenner continued to pay a select group of employees after the city reopened in late September, including Deputy CAO Chad Pitfield, who received extra disaster pay as late as the last week of December.
But look, the policy from 2002, as you said, says this policy is in effect for the days the city was closed due to the emergency. Mm-hmm. The city was open beginning in the end of September.
Correct.
So the Zahn administration is violating the policy, right?
Well, yeah. If when it says that it is when the city is closed, then obviously that policy was violated.
Several Kenner council members are concerned and say the mayor's reaction to the council meeting was off base.
Everything I'm seeing, it's accurate. I don't like what I'm hearing, because it's a big red flag. Our citizens, I'm sure they don't like what they're hearing either. So it's our job as council persons to step up and try and fix what is broken. And I think this is broken.
Councilmember Tom Wilmot plans to propose a new policy that he says will provide better oversight and reform the current system.
Considering the recent news stories regarding additional pay, storm-related events, and this actually creates some oversight by the Kenner Council in those events. It actually allows for a 5-day period of time only by the administration to give additional pay, and anything beyond that would have to be approved by the Kenner Council.
As we continue to review records, we continue to have more questions. Kenner submits forms to FEMA to receive reimbursement for these payments to employees. The document is called an ICS 214 form. Here it is. Every day an employee works, he or she details the hours spent on storm-related work to justify FEMA reimbursement. We had to sue the city of Kenner to release these documents. Those documents show Kenner's Director of Emergency Management, Douglas Dote, received extra pay for a few weeks until the city reopened, and then that extra pay stopped. But those ICS forms show Dote continued to do work on Hurricane Ida recovery. Look at October 19th, 5 hours and 45 minutes on Ida. Another example, October 28th, 4 hours. But Dote didn't receive any extra money for those pay periods, clearly following the city policy. Meantime, other Kenner employees did, like Pitfield and the Director of General Services Mark Lorioso, Public Information Officer Robert Ross, Director of Kenner Media Chris Fortunato, and in the Field Services Division, Jermaine Gilliard, Kenneth Melvin, and Larry Williams.
Is this just a select group of employees who are being rewarded and not something for other employees who are doing Ida work but not being rewarded? Is this just a select group of employees who might be getting rewarded by the Zahn administration?
Well, first I'd like to commend Director Dote for doing his job that he's paid for throughout the year without receiving any additional compensation. The information that you're saying is it doesn't matter how I feel about it, how I believe it is. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, then it's a duck. So obviously there was a separation from people who, from a labor standpoint, possibly, that may not have been compensated as much.
All totaled last year, Chad Pitfield made $223,000.
The average citizen in the city of Kenner, particularly my district, their income is a third of $86,000 that they make for a year. So to be able to pay one person that amount of money in a 3-month time period, 3 different pay periods, is very alarming. And for everyone in my district that I have spoken to, it is somewhat insulting.
Taxpayers will pick up this extra pay. FEMA says some of the money paid could hit Kenner's budget. 45 days after Ida, local municipalities typically have to cover 10% of most expenses, while FEMA picks up the rest. Extra pay many council members hope to rein in for any future emergencies.
I've been a legislator for 9 years, and as a councilman, I've been there for 5 years now. So that's 14 years. I've never seen anything like this before, Lee. It's very disturbing.
After initially refusing our request for an interview, the Zahn administration has agreed to sit down with us next week. We'll bring you that interview after the meeting.